Hey friends, I've been out of town for a few days, but now I'm back. And I can finish this video, and I'm coming in hot to talk about these herbs and peppers. So now we're gonna make some jalapeno pepper jam out of these red peppers here. So I have a recipe that I found online. I'm actually gonna cut it in half, and we're just gonna make a little jar of jam here, and hopefully it goes well. It is a pretty simple recipe with a red pepper, a organic green apple, red jalapeno peppers, they're supposed to be red, sugar, apple cider vinegar. I will actually place the recipe on the screen and down below. However, I will be cutting this recipe in half. Wish me luck. So this is what everything looks like, all cut up and measured out. You're going to see a recipe on the screen. Just note that I've done half of that recipe. So in my little chopper here, we've put in the red peppers, the jalapeno peppers, and the apple. And we're just going to pulse this a little bit until it's coarsely chopped. Hey, and by the way, don't forget to wear your gloves when you're messing with these peppers, and don't touch your face and eyes. So we're going to put our mixture in here. I took out quite a few of the seeds. I didn't leave too many seeds. We're going to pour our vinegar in and add our 1 cup of sugar. And remember, I have this recipe. So I stirred it all well, and we've got this on medium heat, and we're going to bring it to a boil. And then once we bring it to a boil, we'll lower the heat a little bit and let it simmer for about 25 minutes. We've got a soft little boil here, so I'm just going to give it one more little stir. And I think I'm going to lower the heat just a little bit, and we're going to leave this on for about 25-30 minutes, and I'll be stirring it on occasion. So this has been cooking down now for about 20 minutes. Got about another 10 minutes to go, and it's thickening up, as you can see. So we'll come back when it's all. Okay, so this is the final, y'all. So it cooked on the stove for about 25 minutes, started getting pretty thick, and so then I spooned it out into my jar, and this is the consistency of it. We're going to put the top on and put this in the refrigerator for about 24 hours, and then we should be able to eat it with deli crackers, and I think even a little cream cheese on there is going to make this very sweet and spicy and delicious all at the same time. That is the red jalapeno pepper jam. I purchased this stevia some months ago from my local nursery. Here it is here. And it had actually grown pretty well in the green stalk. So I just harvested a bunch of it. And we are going to dehydrate this stevia, put it into tea bags, and use it as a sweetener for coffees and teas. Here is the stevia all cleaned and laid on the dehydrator tray. You're going to call me the dehydration queen before this video is over. I've got this itty bitty food dehydrator that I purchased from Amazon. The jury is still out if I like it or not. It makes a lot of noise, but it does get the job done. And these are tea bags that I purchased at Amazon. Some hours later, this is the dried stevia. Doesn't look like very much when it's all dried up. And I pulled all the leaves off of the stems here. Now, I could have probably done this before I dehydrated it, but I didn't. It was quite easy, though, once it was dried. So now we're going to get these all crunched up, or all crushed up, and I'll come back.
I found a cat.
Be quiet, guys. So now we've got 4 tea bags of stevia that we can drop in tea or coffee or drink to give it a little sweetener. I probably could have gotten more bags, larger leaves out of this, but as you can see, or as you saw, I was a little bit distracted when I was when I was mushing up the leaves there, my grandkids were in here running around. So anyway, we got 4 bags for now, and I'll just stuff them into this little jar here that has a nice, pretty airtight seal on it. And I'll label it. And we'll have stevia bags to sweeten our drinks. So I'm starting my grow bags all over fresh here. Look at them all nicely lined up. I'll have to show you in a video all the new activity I've been doing out here. But I went through and I cleaned up all of my bunching onions and chives. And today we will go through the process of making onion salt. Here are the bunching onions on the dehydrating tray. And since I cut them up so small, I put some parchment paper on top of the tray so they don't fall through the slots. It may take longer for it to dehydrate because this probably could have been spread out or maybe separated among 2 trays. But we're just going to do this tray and see what happens. By the way, I'm always listening to garden channels while I'm in the kitchen. I know it drives my family crazy. This is the M.I. Gardener. Love his channel. This time we're going to go just right to the NutriBullet with about a teaspoon of kosher salt. We've got our salt in there, and these are all the onions. And let's go and grind it all up. Be right back. Look how pretty and green that is. And it's got a nice flavor to it. We're just going to pour it in there. And there we have it. Onion salt. So what we're going to do now is make a jalapeno salt. The ones we're using for this powder were the green ones, and these were the reds that were left. So we dehydrated the peppers, the green jalapeno peppers, and so far we have about this much of hot dehydrated jalapeno peppers, the green ones. The remainder of those dried jalapeno peppers are in here. Oh, this is strong, y'all. It's getting in my nose, so I'm not going to do this too much longer. Maybe I should go get a mask. I poured those that I just crunched all up into this container here for the NutriBullet. And this is just freshly ground jalapeno that I did a couple days ago. So I'm going to use about half of this container. Just pour it in there. That's good. We'll just leave the rest in here with no salt added. So I have about 1/2 tablespoon of kosher salt. That might be a lot for this, but that's what we're going to add. Of course, you would need to do it to your taste. So I've put the lid on real tight. That's what we're working with. And of course, I'll have to wash this out real good before I try to make a smoothie in it, right? Here we go. So now I'm going to use 2 hands and be real careful removing this. So I'm not going to be able to show you right now, but you'll see the finished product. And there it is. This is a real handy funnel too, guys. And I tasted it, and it's just perfect. Spicy with a little bit of salt. Can go on just about anything. Jalapeno flakes and jalapeno salt. So look, y'all, these are the last 3 bell peppers that I've gotten from my garden. There may be a few more out there now, but what I'm going to do is to make bell pepper powder. Yes, I am powder crazy. I am powder making crazy. You know, I did cut up some past harvest of bell pepper and put them in the freezer. But I didn't really use them or like the consistency of them when I pulled them out. I'm sure they were good for soups or what have you. And I do still have some in the freezer, but I'm going to powder these up and put them on my herb shelf. And we'll use these during the winter in our cooking. But we're gonna make these special. We're gonna roast it, and we're gonna have smoked powdered green peppers. I'm not gonna put any oil or anything on these. We're just gonna put them in the oven on a low 200 for about a half hour to get a nice little roasted smoky flavor on them. And so here we go, in the oven, a very low 200. And whoop, there it is. So this is the toothache plant, and I don't see myself setting up, let's say, a full apothecary. But what I can do with this plant is to allow these beautiful little flowers to dry on the stem. I think we have one here that's drying right there. And I can take the seeds and store them for future planting. I can also cut back the stems on these to about 6 inches, and I'll keep it in my greenhouse, and it should regenerate. I'm going to make this Yarrow's home over the winter and see what happens in the spring. Hopefully we get some beautiful flowers. This is the sorrel that I showed you in another video. I understand that it can withstand the winter, so we're going to plant it in the ground and see how it goes next season with the sorrel. All right, it's getting hot up in here, y'all, because we're about to talk about habaneros. This little recipe I found online. The ingredients are red habaneros, onion, garlic, peaches, pineapple, white vinegar, water, a little olive oil, and agave to your taste. I got my reasons. I'm backing up my feelings. No more wasting my time with you. I wish that I could rewind back to the days I can't get back. Oops, I forgot to mention ginger in the ingredients. Now I'm left chasing myself. Honestly, don't believe fairy tale ending. That's another ingredient that I forgot to mention. I tell you what, I'll put the full list in the description. Possibly, you and me never supposed to be a thing. Costing me, all of me, can't seem to get back. Oh, you used to let us back. It's time to relax. Time to realize it's a temporary feeling. Ooh, and we got it going on. So the seasons are moving on out here. It is about the end of October, and we're going to go ahead and harvest some of this parsley. Don't want to waste anything. So the green stalk is performing wonderfully with these oregano plants. Here's another one here. I'm going to go ahead and harvest these oreganos, and we're going to take them in the house and dry them up. The greenhouse has also produced this very beautiful celery stalk. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it back, and we're going to use these leaves and make a delicious celery salt. So we're going to go in and dry these beautiful herbs here. We have celery, there's parsley, there's some oregano down in here, and there's a little bit of thyme. I haven't been doing so well with growing thyme, so whenever I get a little bit, I try and preserve it. All right, here we go. So I brought in all those herbs. I got them all cleaned up. I've got them on the dehydrating trays, and we'll just run through. I'm just showing off a little bit here. I've got my butterfly pea flower tea here. No, I didn't grow it. I'd love to be able to. Not sure if I can in this climate here, but maybe I'll check that out for next year. Back to the matter at hand here. We have celery, and it's crowded a little bit. I've just got a little dehydrator But we're doing the best we can with it. Maybe next year we'll graduate to something more. We've got our oregano here. Here we have parsley. And over here is the little bit of thyme that I have. I didn't put any parchment paper down, so hopefully we don't lose them between the grades. But we're going to go for it, and I'll show you what we come up with afterwards, okay? Here we go. All right, we're all loaded in. We're going to put the top on and fire it up. So this is where we ended up with that last herb harvest. Got a nice little bit of parsley here. Parsley flakes, oregano, that's what we got, oregano flakes, thyme, not very much, but I'll keep building on it. Every time I harvest, I'll add to it. And then this was the winner here, the celery. We made some celery salt, and we got quite a bit of that. So that's it, y'all. We're just going to keep growing and harvesting and adding to our herb base here so we don't have to buy it at the store. Can't beat that. See ya.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
What's happening?
What's happening? We now have 600 subscribers. Thank you, guys. I'm incognito in case anybody wants my autograph. I think he's saying he's the only one that wants my autograph. We appreciate all of you for subscribing, and we hope to continue to bring you entertaining footage, clips of our travels.
Great content. And about my forward-moving retirement.
And me to follow.